Okay, that is the syllabus for this course. In case you have not seen it, I have posted this in the community. That is the syllabus. I have posted it in the online community that we have. If you notice, I have put the grading scheme there. Assignments carry 25%. So beginning next week, when you submit assignments, it'll all be formal. And then they'll all be graded. 25% for assignments. The whole idea of doing a Moocs class is to promote online community participation. So you get 10% for that. Midterm, there will be a midterm 15%. I will give a midterm which should be done in groups of 2. Okay. There will be a final. Typically final, I'll tell you what the final would be. There will be a project. Whatever you're learning here, you'll be executing a project. Again, the project team members could be 3 or 4 people in a project. And I don't give a separate final exam. What I do is final is nothing but a presentation of your project to the class. So you do a project, you're going to produce a nice report of your project. And then you are going to give a presentation, a nice slick presentation to the team. And that presentation is your final. Okay, so nowhere here I'm trying to be harsh. Incidentally, even assignments, I'm perfectly all right if you work in teams of 2 for assignments. Okay, midterm also you'll be working in teams of 2, and the midterm would be an open book, open class, open everything. Okay, open mind too. I'm putting something in the chat for those of you who can see. Any questions on grading? Okay, if you have any questions on grading, you can send me an email or put it in chat. I'll answer them. Okay. Okay, so let me share the PowerPoint. I think I'm already sharing PowerPoint. So what we'll do, by now, you know, I said I like to start with a quote. I have 2 quotes for you today. Again, this is now between me and the students, and faculty members are always welcome to chime in. I love this quote, Benjamin Franklin, one of the founding fathers of US. Okay, very nice quote. Tell me and I forget, teach me and I may remember, involve me and I learn. I love this quote because it is so true, right? Generally, whenever we say anything in the class, you probably will forget within a few hours, you'll forget what you learned in the class. That's one reason why I always like to involve my students. The more active participation you do, the more involved you are in the community, the better you remember and you really learn stuff. In case you think I'm partial to somebody, of course, I have my famous Einstein. Any fool can know, the point is to understand, right? So that is what I try to emphasize here too in this class. The whole idea is to try to understand, right? If you understand, you can solve. So that's the quotes. The focus of this week would be on a couple of things, because all the data structures and all the algorithms that you use, they are always in the context of executing something, writing something and executing something. I mentioned to you in the very introductory class that we'll use Java as the base language, okay, to write algorithms, to implement algorithms, to use the data structures and so on. So I do not know what is the proficiency of all the students from different colleges about what Java programming language is all about. Okay, so we will do a quick review. The focus this week, that means today, and again on Thursday your time. Good morning, Chakravarti garu. Chakravarti garu, I'm muting you only for a second. Okay. The focus would be today and on Thursday would be on giving you a primer or primer on Java quickly. It could happen in one day, highly unlikely. And then we'll get into the data structures. Right after a small overview of Java, we'll get into data structures of linked lists. Right? You have singly linked lists, single link, doubly linked lists, and circular lists. Right? And then we get into some kind of sorting and insertion into those lists. That should set you on the right path towards implementing different types of algorithms and analyzing those algorithms. Okay, I will put something in the chat here. Any questions from students? About the focus this week? Or from faculty? Okay. Chakravarti garu, I'll unmute you for a second so that way I can, you have to solve the guides problem. Oh, guide is on audio now, looks like it. Guide, go ahead and speak if you can speak. Okay. Looks like everyone can hear me now. Including guide. Okay, good. Okay, perfect. ASET. ASET is not on audio, but I'm assuming somebody from ASET dialed in a different way. Chakravarti garu, where is Chakravarti garu here? Okay. Chakravarti garu, I unmuted you for a second. You're able to hear me well, I'm assuming. Okay, let's assume he is able to hear me. Okay, so students, let's breeze through this Java primer, right? I assume that you are the experts because you all profess that you learned Java in one of your programming language classes. So this should be a piece of cake for you. Let me put it in a slide mode. Okay. Okay, I'm going to breeze through it. Let me see. Okay, so is this the first slide that I have? Let me check. Okay, this is the first slide. Okay, Java. Okay, compiled language, we know that, right? And then when you compile them, what happens? There you get these executable files, right? Bytecode. It is, remember, bytecode is different from machine language code, right? So then you have a Java virtual machine through which this code gets executed. Now, how do you define a Java program? You basically open up any text editor, right? And then you type in your source code there. Now, if you are in your class, you would have been taught like you typically use an IDE, right? Like we use Eclipse here. We write all of our Java programs using Eclipse framework. Okay. And then you save your file with a .java suffix. Right, and the bytecode file is stored in a file with a .class suffix. Okay, so the .class is what is produced by your Java compiler. Okay, Now here the program, right? Very, very nice slide. By the way, all these slides have already been posted in the community under week 3. Officially, this is week 3, so I just put them under week 3 folder. I uploaded all these slides. Okay, so this is a very interesting slide. I do not know if you have seen a slide like this in your programming class. Let's start from the left here, right? Let me make it here. So let me increase the size here a little bit so that way you can see it better. Give me a second. Okay, you should be able to see that now. Well, so all programs, if you look at the program here, these are all the main, from a syntactic viewpoint, these are all the things that you should be familiar with, right? So you're declaring a class called universe right here. And then if you go from left to right, the word keyword public means anyone can run this program. Okay. Everything in Java has to be in a class, so we call class universe, open parenthesis, right? We always have class definition with open parenthesis, and we have a closing parenthesis at the end, right? That is the closing brace, closing the class at the bottom here. Okay. Now, when you let me take some filler here. Yeah. Okay. So anyone can run this program. That's why public. Okay. Class universe. Then you come down here and you say again public static void. What does public mean? Anyone can run this method. So we're declaring a method. A class has nothing but methods and data. You know that. Okay. So you have a public method. The word static, why do we use the word static? Because this method belongs to the class and not the object. So in a programming language class, you would have learned about these things, right? Where you can actually have methods declared in an object. Okay. So whereas this one is specific to the entire class. Void means it doesn't return any values. Main is the name of the method. Now you know that every Java program should have a main defined somewhere. Okay. It takes a string. Have an open brace and a closing brace. Here's the open brace. Here's the closing brace. You can see my cursor where it is moving, right? Okay. Now, and then it has one print statement, right? System.out.println. Okay. All you're doing is you're printing hello world basically. Here in this case, hello universe. Okay. So what is the name of the method here? Println is the name of the method. Okay. And the parameter passed is hello universe. Pretty straightforward definition. Okay. Sir, you know what main is, and then you know what a block is. Again, I'll be moving very fast here because I'm assuming you know this stuff. If you don't know some stuff, stop me, okay? Okay, so identifiers, you know how to declare identifiers as long as they are characters. They begin with a letter, you're fine. You have the concept of reserved words. This is important for any programming language student should know. What are the base types, right? Base meaning these are the native type defined by the language. Okay, and a type determines how much storage is allocated. Okay. Now, if you see here, you have Boolean character, byte, short, int, long, float, and all that, right? And you can see how many bits are assigned to that, right? If you look at Boolean, it's a Boolean value. Character is 16-bit Unicode. That means you can represent 2 raised to 16 minus 1 characters with that. Now byte is an 8-bit signed 2's complement integer. Chakravarti, I assume that all these students have learned 2's complement integers and all that, right? In one of the courses in the very beginning.
Presentation problem ఉంటుంది మరి ఎందుకు రావట్లేదు.
Okay.
Presentation problem ఉంటుంది సార్ అడుగుతుంది.
Okay. So I'm assuming you learned that stuff. If not, you you Google up and learn. Okay. Let me see if my okay, great. And then you can see some values here given, right? So you have like a byte b equal to 12. So you're assigning 12 there. Somebody took away my whiteboard.
Sir, we are unable to see your screen, sir, from Jntuk Vijayanagar.
So you took control of my screen. That's why you're unable to see it. Let me change my
Yes,
role
sir, before that, sir. Before that.
Before that. Okay. Let me try one more time then.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Right now I'm not sharing anything. What you see is whiteboard. I'm going to type something here. Can you see this?
Sir, sir, we are from SVCW.
Yes.
Sir, we are unable to see your video, and at the same time, we are unable to chat with you, sir.
You are unable to see my video, meaning not my face. Can you see my PowerPoint that I was showing you?
PowerPoint is also not visible to us, sir.
Right. Until it was not visible. Or right now I'm not sharing
Yes.
PowerPoint. Can you see my whiteboard right now?
Yes, sir. We are seeing your right work. Can you see this?
Yes, sir, we can see
that
your
is visible, but it is not visible to us, sir.
Got it. We'll solve that problem. Okay, JNTUV, can you see my whiteboard?
Yes, sir, we can see
Yes.
your whiteboard. Previously shared slide not seen, sir.
Okay, now I'm going to share one more time, okay? Let's
Okay,
see if
sir.
you can see that, okay? Because some of you are able to see some parts of it, some of you are not able to. So I do not know if the problem is with the WebEx or the problem is at your end, right? Okay, now I'm going to share a Word document. Tell me whether you can see the Word document or not, okay? Okay, I'm sharing a Word document. Can you see my Word document?
Yes, sir.
You're able to see my Word document, right?
Yes, sir. Fine, sir.
Okay, now I'm going to share PowerPoints. Do you see my PowerPoint?
Yes, sir. Now we are seeing.
Okay.
Yes, sir, now we are seeing.
Okay. So did you guys see my PowerPoint? Did you see this slide before?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, now you are able to see, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Now we are seeing.
Okay. Is there anyone who is not able to see that? Okay. Is there anyone who cannot see this slide? You either speak up or put it in chat. After I ask a question, if I don't hear from anyone for 15-20 seconds, that I assume that you are able to see everything and hear me well. Okay, so I just explained in the last 5 minutes this slide. Okay, what I said was this is a quick overview for the benefit of students and faculty members too, in case they have not specialized in Java. A quick overview of what Java is all about, right? We said Java, we compile it, right? And then we write a program using a text file. And then we save it with a .java extension. And then when you compile it, you get a .class suffix. That is the compiled bytecode. These are the various components. And then those are explained in the next set of slides. The identifiers, how to declare an identifier, right? It all starts with a character. Okay, and then we talked about base types. Every programming language has a set of base types. And then the base types here for Java are the following: Boolean, character, byte, short, int, long, float, and double. Type tells us, I mean, if you were to take a course on compilers by me, then I'll tell you, I'll get into more details. A type basically tells me how many bits has been allocated to that. Okay. Typical, based on the standards, if you take an int is typically 32 bits. Whereas a long and double, long is 64 bit. Okay, a byte is 8 bit. Now, this is again, when you talk about how many bits, this is dependent on the operating system and the machine. It could be true on Unix platform, these numbers. If you go to Windows platform, it could be something else. So as a programmer, whenever you are programming in an environment, you should always look at what are the values related to that particular operating system or that particular platform. Okay. So, and here are some examples as to values that are assigned to these different base types. Okay, JNTV, you're still able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and SVCW, you're able to see my screen?
We are seeing, sir.
You are able to. Okay, perfect. Guide, are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Excellent, excellent. And you're able to see me too. Okay, perfect. Excellent. అవును నేను చాలా కష్టపడి I showed the Christmas tree and all that. Did you people see it or did you not see it?
Still we see.
Okay, okay, good.
Sir,
And
can you
one more
please
thing,
increase the font
we
size? Font size.
Font size ఎక్కువ చేయాలా?
Yes, sir.
Okay, నేను టైప్ చేయడం కోసం I'm not putting in the presentation mode. Let me ask a question to a students here, okay? I want more engagement from students, right? Ikkada, if I say why, let me go back here. Okay, let me put a home insert. If I have a value here, let me put something here. Insert new slide. If I say byte B equal to 255. Is that valid? The question is, if I have a statement in Java byte B equal to 255, is that valid or not is what I'm asking. Okay, let's give an opportunity to the people who came first online today was Guide. Guide, ask some of your students to come and say yes or no to that. Guide, you are able to hear me, right? Okay, I want somebody from Guide to come forward to the mic and tell me whether byte B equal to 255 is that statement valid or not valid. Come on, come on, come on. You should take no more than 10 seconds to answer that question. That too, your audio is working and you're able to see my screen. You cannot even pretend that you're not seeing my screen. Okay, SVCW, you are also able to see that, right? Let's see, that's all women's college, right? I do not know if your audio is your video on. Turn on your video. Ask one of your students to come and tell us whether it's a valid statement or not. SVCW, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we are here. Okay, Susmita will talk.
Okay, मेरा video on చేయండి మీది. You did not turn on your video. Please turn on your video. మీ పేరు పక్కన వీడియో ఐకాన్ ఒకటి ఉంటుంది, అది క్లిక్ చేస్తే I think your video should come on. Okay, SVCW. Whoever is talking, state your name.
My name is Susmita, sir.
గట్టిగా మాట్లాడాలమ్మా కొంచెం. Perfect. I can see your video. And can you focus the video on Sushmita, please? This is your chance to shine, you know. See, I want my students to shine in the class. Now I am excited.
Good
Okay,
morning, sir.
Good morning. Tell me.
My name is Susmita.
Right?
It is valid.
You are saying it is valid?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, Shushmita, I'll take that as an answer. For now, we'll give an opportunity to a couple of others also. Okay, why don't you ask this one? Can you show the video again to the class of the entire class? I'm not able to see your video for some reason. Your video is not coming. Maybe it's because of low bandwidth. Ask your students, show of hands, how many of them agree with you? Students, raise your hands. How many of you agree with Shushmita that it is valid?
All are agreeing.
Oh my God, did you give them some chocolate or what? They are all agreeing with you. Are you the nice girl in the class? Is that why they agree? Okay. So that means either all of them fail or all of them pass with you now. We'll find out. Why don't I give the opportunity to JNTUV? JNTUV faculty member, students are nunte, ask them if that is a valid statement or not. For colleges here, just to let you know, JNTUV and Goodlavaleru Engineering College and of course JNTUK, they were very active participants in my class last semester. JNTUV, anybody is coming forward with an answer or not? Okay, what about GUIDE? GUIDE, are the students now willing to talk? Okay, so somebody is trying to talk. Go ahead. Okay, why don't I just go ahead and say that? Let's look at this one, right? Shushmita said it is valid and entire class agreed. What is byte? Byte means how many bits? 8 bits. What is the value range for 8 bits? Raised to 8, right? Subscript ఎలా పెట్టాలో నాకు PowerPoint లో తెలీదు. Instead of 2 raised by 8, which is equal to 256, right? But in 2's complement, 256 under 0 to 255, right? But in 2's complement, the way the byte is represented, you have to represent both negative and positive, right? So I think it goes from minus 128 or 127 to plus 127. Check out whether it's minus 128 or 127. Correct? So you really cannot have, if you put 255 there and compile it, it won't compile. Because the maximum value that can go positive side would be up to 127. You got it, Shushmita? Shushmita, you understand now? So in essence, this is not a valid statement. Okay. If somebody executes that and shows me that it is valid, I'll give them an A grade in the class. Okay. Just a small teaser there for you in terms of review of Java. Okay. Okay. Good job, Shushmita, to come forward. I like that. Okay, let me go back to the presentation mode here. Okay. By the way, students from all other colleges, the more you interact, the better the lectures would be. And then remember, there's 10 percentage points for interaction. Okay. So I'll continue. I'll mute all of you for a few minutes now. Let me mute all participants. Pause participants. Okay, can you mute yourself, please? Okay, I'm going to mute all of you. If I can mute you, yeah, Jntuk Kakinada, Jntuk V. Git, I'm muting you. I'm muting all of you for a few minutes, so that way there's no static for others. Okay, so we'll continue. I've just muted all of you for a few minutes. So classes and objects, you know that, right? Everything you have to define in a class and you declare objects. Objects are nothing but the variables of a class, right? So, and then you have instance variables, meaning within a class definition, you can declare a variable belong to another class. So that then that becomes an instance variable. Okay. Methods are nothing but pieces of code which function, right? Okay. And then you have some definitions like accessor method, and accessor method means something where you say get, right? Get value. That's an accessor method. So whatever is the value there, it's going to return that. Okay. Now, if you want to update, right, you can update the instance variable. That's what update methods are. Okay. So here is an example of a counter. So you have a private int count, pretty standard, very simple example, right? What is this called when you have public counter like this? This is the constructor, right? Sorry. Right. So you know the concept of constructors, and then you can have many different types of constructors. Okay. Now, does it show a destructor here in this code? In C++, you show destructors. In Java, you don't, because the system automatically does the garbage collection. Okay. So you know how the code works. I don't have to teach you that. Okay. Okay, classes are known as reference types, and a variable of the type is known as reference variable, right? So the moment you declare a variable, that is where you start allocating memory for it. Okay. Got it? So the moment you declare a variable, the memory is allocated on the stack. Okay. To create new objects, you use the new operator. Okay. Now constructors, these are the things that share the same name as its class. What is the purpose of a constructor? To initialize the values, right? To initialize or to create a reference, right? When you create new instances, right? So that is the purpose of a constructor. Let me go to the next slide. So you can see another count example here, a counter demo here. You can see how the declare, when you declare C, you did not call the counter yet, the constructor, right? So the moment you say new is a method which tells, hey, allocate memory for this counter object. And then wherever on the stack that counter space has been given, that value is passed to the value C. Okay. Then you are incrementing by 1, incrementing by 3 more. So pretty straightforward. Rest of it is pretty straightforward. You should be knowing that. Okay. Okay. What a class is, you definitely know that. Okay. So I showed you the first slide. When you remember the very first slide which summarized, you can put the public class modifier, meaning when you make it public, everyone else can access that class. Okay. There are 3 levels of protection for classes: public, protected, and private. Okay. Protected means only the friends of the class can access it, right? Either subclass or friends of a class. Okay. Via inheritance or in the same package. Okay. Private means it is a defined member of class. Granted, it only code belonging to that class can see that class declared inside a class. Okay. Static, when a variable or method of a class is declared as static, it is associated with the class as a whole rather than with one individual instance of that class. Okay. Rather than individually that class. Okay. Now let me, since I see the wonderful video of SVCW, let's ask them one more time. Give me an example of a variable in a class where you declare the variable as static. Simple example. You're saying that if you look at the last bullet, when a variable or method of a class is declared as static, it is associated with the class as a whole rather than with each individual instance of the class. So I want an example of a variable in a class which could be declared as static. Very likely you would have video thesis error. They disabled the video. I'm just joking. Huh? Due to low bandwidth or local computer conditions, video is disabled. Video will resume automatically when the conditions improve. Okay. Okay. If they cannot answer, is there anyone else from other institutions who can answer my question? I will unmute Guide. I really want Guide to speak. Do you understand my question? Guide, if you're talking amongst yourself, it doesn't help. You have to come to the mic and talk to everyone. Okay, I'm muting Guide. Chaitanya, do you want to take a stab at my question? Okay. Pragati, you are unmuted. If you have any student who can answer that, ask them to come forward. Which could potentially be declared as static. Any example? Okay, JNTUV, go for it if you have anyone who can answer that.
Hello.
Cheppandi, evaru maatladutunnaru?
Sir, from JNT Vijayanagaram, sir.
Okay, any student can answer my question there?
Sir, actually an employee can be taken as a class, sir.
Who is answering this for me? Is it faculty? So what is your name?
My name is Sai, sir.
Sai, okay, turn on your video, Sai, if your video is not turned on. Okay, Sai, who
Already
is
turned
Sai
on.
there? Okay, excellent, Sai, tell me. So an employee can be taken as a class. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, sir. And let us assume that if there is a salary for each employee, we can take total employee salary as a static variable for the class, sir.
Total static variable for the class. That's a good example. That's a good example. Yeah, total salary for an employee. So how will you get the total salary? How will you compute it?
Every time while getting the salary for a particular employee, we would add it to the total employee salary, sir.
Add to the total employee salary. Okay, that's a good example. I like that. That's good. Now I do see Aditya's picture here. Is there any student from Aditya who can come forward and give me another example? Come on, a boy from JNTUV came. Now I need a girl who can compete with the boy, right? Actually, I'm muting JNTUV here for a second. Ekkado static vastundi. Let me see who I should mute. Okay, nobody from Aditya is coming forward. That's a shame. Come on, you can do it. Okay, I muted Aditya. Faculty members, this is a lesson for us, right? I want these guys to answer. Okay, there's a thing that I learned from my dad, who is a professor. Okay, he says even if you lie, lie with confidence. Okay, so ask my wife. Whenever I say anything, I say with a lot of confidence unless proven wrong. So don't be shy, answer. Okay. The other trick that we employ here, faculty members, I don't know if you can do that for me in India. In all my class at Berkeley or elsewhere where I'm invited to talk, I usually have a box of cookies or candies, Cadbury, Kit Kat, oatmeal raisin cookies, things like that. So whenever they answer, they get a Kit Kat. That always works. Okay. So if you can spend 10 rupees, 20 rupees, I don't know what it costs there. Always have a bag of cookies. Whoever answers, they earn that. Okay. Having said that, again, students, I'm telling you, it won't be, I'm a nice instructor, but I make you work. It is a two-way street. Okay. Keep that in mind. Sometimes when you're quiet, I can be quiet for the entire class till you answer. Okay. You have been warned now, right? The students. Next time I ask a question, I want somebody to come forward and say it boldly. Okay, so that's good. JNTV, you answered it correctly. There's another case, right? Let's say if I have a class called student, right? And then I instantiate students, right? There are 50, 60, 100 students. I want to keep track of the count of students. How many students are there, right? I can have a static counter, student count. So every time I instantiate a student object, the count goes up. Okay, that's another. Typically, we keep track of counts and things like that by using static variables like that. Okay, I'm glad I'm doing a refresher. I know that some faculty members said they are already experts in Java, but I'm the type where I trust but verify. Okay, great. Let's move on because I want to finish this one and then. Okay, so you know the keyword this, right? This we call it the this pointer, right? Okay. So all these objects, when they are created, remember we said there's a reference to the object. So this becomes the reference to the instance upon which the method was invoked. Okay. So there's some things that you should verify. I'm not going to go through each of these three bullets here. Okay. So, but these are the main highlights about this keyword. Okay, to store the reference in a variable or send it as a parameter to another method. Okay, to differentiate between an instance variable and local variable with the same name. Okay. Okay, that is that. Now you know about expressions and operators. I'm not going to dwell on that. A plus B, A divided by B, modulus, all kinds of combinations. Okay, so you have addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulo. I'm not going to test you on what modulo operator is. I'm assuming you know that. Okay, now whenever you have different operands, right, depending on the type of the operands, the resulting type is dependent on that. Okay. If you see if both the operands are of type int, the result is an int. But if one or both operands have type float, the result is a float. Okay. Now when you do an integer division, always the results are truncated. So all these are the basic things that you learn in programming 101, right? So I'm not going to go deep into that. Increment and decrement operators, I mean, easy operators, but you know the slight nuances, right? Like take, for example, the second line of the code here, integer j equal to I plus plus. So if I is equal to 8 above, j gets assigned 8 and then I gets incremented to 9. But if you put the same plus plus before I, what is the value of k? K becomes 9 because you increment I first and then assign it to k. So these are again the rules that you have learned. You have logical operators, less than or equal to. Booleans, right? Not of operator, conditional. A and B, both the conditions are met, right? Actually, that reminds me, somebody sent me the code for Dijkstra's algorithm. Who was it? Somebody sent it today. From which college it was? Can somebody speak up? I just wanted to recognize them. Somebody sent it. Good job, whoever did that. Okay. Bitwise operators, where you can do the bit level manipulation. Again, nothing drastic from other programming languages, pretty straightforward. You have the precedence of operators. I can assure you that I would not test you on precedence of operators because I can never remember it myself. Okay, but there is some precedence of operators, right? Things in parentheses would be executed first and things like that, right? So you can, as you get used to it, you will not make mistakes. Even if you make mistakes in precedence, in debugging, code debugging, you can figure those things out. Casting, remember I told you about casting. I can do an explicit cast or an implicit cast. Any casting by default is dangerous from a security viewpoint, so I don't recommend that. Okay. So whatever expression you evaluate it to, you can forcefully tell the compiler, make it like, for example, take the example there, right? You have double D1, double D2. And then what are you doing for D1? You're typecasting it to an integer. So when you typecast it to an integer, what is happening? D1 is 3.2. Since you're taking integer, I1 gets 3. Because remember, the decimals get truncated. Okay. Same thing happens to I2. Okay. Now what is now in double D3, when you say double of I2, you're typecasting I2 to double, even though it is declared as an integer. So whatever value is there, it is saved as the double value, 3.0. Again, these are all pretty ABCs of the programming language. Okay. Nothing great there. Okay, let me stop there for a second. Questions, comments on that? I'm pausing here for a second. Okay. Chakravarti garu, meeku emana comments unnaya? Generally, when I pause, I give opportunity for faculty members to speak up. If you want to summarize, if you want to add on to what I said, because you have a lot of knowledge and wisdom about these things too. So if you want to add on, if I miss something, here is your opportunity to add on to it. Faculty members, for your benefit, let me tell you, almost all the faculty members who were there in my earlier class, usually at different point, they always add their own perspective. So please feel free to do that. Some madam was telling people about the time complexity and all. Madam, you are welcome to speak. I didn't catch you from which college you were talking. Room full of silence. Okay, students, you are welcome to talk too. Hopefully that quick overview was enough for you to say, let me go back and refresh my Java knowledge, right? Before next class. Otherwise, you'll be in big trouble, right? Okay, let me open up a slide here, slide deck, and then I'll tell you what you need to do. Recent. Chapter 2. Give me a second, guys. I'm trying to open a chapter here. I think it's done. Okay. Do you guys see my PowerPoint here? Please tell me whether if you have a difficulty. Okay. This is another chapter quickly on that, which I posted in the forum. It's on object-oriented programming. I'm not going to go through this slide deck, but I posted there because I want the students to go